you already there. Read Proverbs 6 and 16 again.
This is the book of Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 16. These 6 things doth the Lord hate. Yea, 7 are an abomination unto him.
So there's 6 things that the Lord hate. There's 7 abominations unto him. Go ahead.
Verse 17, a proud look.
Proud look. Like we said, the beginning of sin is pride. If you don't believe me, go read it in Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, the 10th chapter and the 13th verse. The beginning of sin is pride, right? So if you go look at through the history of our nation is a prideful nation, right? And all of our sin came literally at the hands of pride. The beginning of being prideful. Go ahead.
A lying tongue.
A lying tongue. The Most High God hates a lying tongue. So when it says bearing false witness against your neighbor, break that down again.
Bearing false witness. So like I was saying before, a lot of brothers in the truth will puff themselves in knowledge, right? And say, you know, the Bible never says what? The Bible never says that you can't lie. And then, of course, somebody will be like, yes, it does. It's in the 10 Commandments. And because they puff themselves in knowledge, they'll go to the 10 Commandments and they'll say what? It says bearing false witness. It never says lying. But like I said earlier, you know, bearing false witness is a type of lying, right? But we can no longer tell people it's okay to lie when it's 7 things that he hates and one of them is lying. You have to learn the Bible. A lot of us, we don't learn the Bible. And a lot of us, we puff ourselves up and boast ourselves in the stuff that the Most High loves. Saying, I'm doing this, God loves me. I'm doing this, God loves me. The Most High loves me because I do this, right? But we don't study and see what the Most High doesn't love, right? We don't study and see what he hates because a lot of us might be doing stuff that we think is right, but just because we think it's right doesn't mean it's right. We could be doing stuff that actually the Most High hates. Having a proud look. You know what I'm saying? So lying, right, is one of the things that the Most High hates. So we can't lie no more. We can't tell brothers, hey, look, you know, it just depends on what you're lying about. He said he hates lying, a lying tongue, right? So we can no longer say that, guess what? Lying is okay.
No,
we have to learn these commandments. We have to learn what's being said and not contradict them. We have to learn so we can have a new form of morality in our head. We have to renew our mind, right? Go back to how our mind used to be before it was born into this sinful nature. We have to renew it. Don't get a new one, but renew it. You know, refurbish it. Make it brand new again. Right?
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 21. We start in verse 8. All praises. I hope it doesn't cut out again this time. Right? And it reads, but the fearful and the unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. So liars are going to have their part that burns in the lake with fire and brimstone, right? The Most High God hates a lying tongue. Go to Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 30 real quick.
Let's go to Proverbs chapter 14 and verse number 30, right? It reads, a sound heart is the life of the flesh, but envy the rottenness of the bones.
So now we're breaking down all these commandments, right? So we just got off the lying tongue where it talks about thou shalt not bear false witness. Now we're going into coveting, right? Coveting thy neighbor's wife, coveting thy neighbor's house, coveting thy neighbor's oxen, coveting thy neighbor's ass, coveting thy neighbor's treasure, coveting thy neighbor's fruit, coveting thy neighbor's harvest. Coveting anything that your neighbor has is a form of being envious, right? And read that again.
So this is the book of Proverbs chapter 14 and verse 30. A sound heart is the life of the flesh, but envy the rottenness of the bones.
So envy will rotten your bones, man. And many people don't understand what that means. That's just basically saying when you're envying something. My rib asked me a question this morning. What's the difference between jealousy and envy? And then I explained it to her a little bit about what it was, and then she explained it down further down. The conclusion of envy is you literally living your whole life despising somebody for what they have and literally wanting it for yourself, right? You don't want them to have it. I wish I could just have that. They don't deserve that. That's being envious, right? You know what I'm saying? That's just that's not brotherly love. That's not loving your neighbor. None of these things that we're bringing out is an act of love, right? And like we said, that these 5 commandments are literally defined as when Christ said that, and you should love your neighbor as you love yourself. You wouldn't want nobody to envy you. You would love yourself more so than you love somebody else. J. Cole got a notorious song that says, always gonna be a chick that's better out there on the tours, but you ain't never gonna be happy till you love yours, right? He said, think being broke was better. The song is Love Yours. And basically he was saying, man, we live our lives trying to get what other people have, but at the end of the day, if we focus on what we don't have instead of what we do have, we will always rot in our bones because we're literally waking up to look at all this fame, money that people got that we don't got, and we're literally killing ourselves trying to get there and literally killing ourselves eternally. Driving ourselves insane. Go ahead, Ken.
I can't find it, but I think it's in Proverbs where it talks about, paraphrasing, it kind of says, desire not the ways or desire not the treasures of the wicked, right? And that's what, hey, a lot of us got to stop comparing ourselves because it rung a bell when you said they don't deserve that. A lot of us keep the law, statute, commandments and think that we deserve everything in the world. That doesn't mean, just because you keep the law, statute, commandments don't mean that you deserve it. We don't deserve nothing. We're unprofitable servants, right? We got to stop thinking we're owed so much. So it says what? It says, Salaki, it says a sound heart is the life of the flesh. If you want life, right? If you want your flesh to be happy, you have to have a sound heart. You have to be okay with what you have. You have to be content with food and raiment. Those are the only two things that you should be dying to asking the Lord for is food and raiment. Those are the two things that you need to be content. If you're sound in that, guess what? You're going to have life. But if you're always worrying about what the next person has, worrying about something that's not yours, when you envy something, it rottens your bones. You know why? Because it's not yours in the first place. It was never on your plate. So why are you worried about it? Focus on what's on your plate.
Right.
Be happy with the chicken bone and the side of greens that you got. Don't worry that they got a 5-course meal and they got a dessert at the end. Don't worry about that. That's not your plate. Worry about what's on your plate and be happy that you even get to eat.
So it's basically saying, man, we don't live a life where we get to choose what we want to do, because if we did, this world would be way worse than what it is. You know what I'm saying? We would be lawless, right? A simple governing tool that is a small thing that people don't pay attention to, but they should more, is grocery stores. Why is grocery stores something that can be used as to see how people can govern themselves? Go look at where people, they have the cart slots inserted for when you take a cart at the grocery store and you're supposed to insert it back. Look at how many people leave their carts just because they don't feel like walking back and taking it back to where the selective designated point is for the cart. People can't even govern themselves with a small task like that. So what makes you think that if I got the riches in the world that I wanted, that my heart wanted, that my flesh wanted, what makes you think that I can control myself? What makes you think that I contain myself? Like Ox said, eat what's given to you, right? If you have a little, to whom much is given, much is required. And if you're given a little, then do a lot with that little, right? Multiply the gifts that were given unto you in righteousness, right? You can't be sitting up here envying brothers and sisters because they have more. If you have less, then use the less that you have and increase it, multiply it. Occupy until the Most High God come, like Christ told the men to do in Luke the 19th chapter. You got to do better than that when it comes to knowing what we should be doing as a nation. What we should be doing is, just because I got $10 and this brother got $1 million, don't mean I should be hating on this brother saying he don't deserve that. I'm keeping laws too. Where's my blessings at? No, brother, your blessings will come if you get rid of that envy in your heart.
You can't be like, oh, I fast. Brother don't even fast. He don't even have a fasting life. He don't deserve that.
Right.
You can't compare yourself like that.
Right.
Because the minute you envy, that blessing that was on the way is taken away, bro.
Exactly.
The minute you say something, because look, you're going to be judged by every outer word that come out your mouth. The minute you envy and you break that commandment, guess what? You broke all the commandments. And now you're not getting that blessing that you thought was yours.
And don't be foolish, man. We all know that we wish that we could get more in this life, not because of the world, but because we know that the Most High is able to give us blessings from out of this world. You know what I'm saying? Like you can reap good benefits in being on earth. We know this is not our rest. We shouldn't be storing our riches up here. But yeah, I would like to have a nice house. I would like to have a better car. You know what I'm saying? I like the car that I got, but I would like to have a bigger house. I would like to have a lot more money than what I do. I would like to have a lot of things, right? But the main thing that I'm really focused on is the riches and wisdom that's in this word. This is going to be the stability of our time. It's going to come a day where we ain't going to be able to drive our cars. It's going to come a day where our houses, they're going to be burnt with fire. right? All that stuff is going to come to naught. The only thing that we will have to rely on and depend on in the end times is this word right here. If you put this word in your heart, if you read and meditate on it daily, you will never forget it, right? Precept real quick. You got one?
No, you good.
Okay, precept real quick. This is Revelation. This is the 1st chapter. And this is the 3rd verse, right? Salakia. And it reads, Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand, right? So blessed are the readers. If you're reading the word, literally it'll be put inside your heart. You cannot, like we said earlier in Proverbs, in the 6th chapter, the 20th, I think it was the 22nd verse, where it talks about we need to put our mother's instructions around our heart and tie it. Wear it like a necklace, man. Put these around our neck. If you circumcision and if you have been circumcised in the heart, right? Everything that you apply in this book will never leave you, nor forsake you. Like the Most High God said, he would never leave us nor forsake us. I have been young and now I'm old and I have never seen the righteous forsaken. That's in Psalms, I want to say the 37th chapter or the 137th chapter. I'm not necessarily sure, but I've never seen the righteous forsaken, right? So if you're literally the only time you should be envying anything is you should be envying when a rock is crying out in your place because you're not studying the scriptures like you're supposed to.
Con, this is talking about an envious person, right? This is book of Proverbs chapter 20, 21 and 26. He coveteth greedily all the day long, but the righteous giveth and spareth not, right? If you're a righteous person, you're not going to be worried about what somebody else has because you're going to be too busy giving all that you have. That's the difference between a covetous person and a righteous person. A righteous person is going to give all that he has, everything that's on his plate. He's gonna be like that woman in the New Testament with Peter and giving his 2 pence, right? He's going to give everything off of his plate instead of thinking, dang, I want that on my plate. He's going to be, you know what I'm saying? That it's complete opposites. That's playing upon tables. And also, like the brother said, as a sidebar, it says, blessed are those people that read. I've talked to a brother before, and he said, yeah, I got to the level to where, I'm just applying it to my life. I don't need to read anymore. I done read the whole Bible. I did some jail time. I read the whole Bible a few times, and I got to the point now where it says, blessed are those that read. That means, guess what? If he come back like a thief in the night, and you haven't read in a year, bruh, you're not blessed. You see what I'm saying? We got to be occupied in prophecy. We got to be reading the things written aforetime for our learning at all times until they take it away, right? Until that famine of the word come. For example, I put on my personal page, they banned the Bible and the Quran, the unholy Quran. They banned both of them in China. And look, everybody knows whatever happens in China is coming here first, right? This wicked virus started in China. Where did it come next? It came here. Technology starts in China. I'm pretty sure they had Teslas before we had them. And guess what? It come here next. Everything they do is coming here next. So if they banning Bibles in China, they're going to ban Bibles here. Now, we got governors and mayors sticking up for religious rights and stuff right now. But soon enough, when a national emergency happens and everybody's under the rule of one man, guess what? All that's getting shut down. And what are you going to do if you never bought a hard copy Bible? I got worldly friends right now that don't have a hard copy Bible and get mad when I bring that to the light. What are you going to do when you can't go on Instagram, when you can't go on Bible app to rate it from 1 star to 5 stars and get a verse of the day? What you going to do? What you going to do when you can't watch your favorite mega church pastor? What you going to do when you're by yourself in your house, you can't come out your house, and you think, dang, the Most High God might be doing this for a reason, but you don't even know where to start because you don't even have a hard copy Bible. It said, blessed are those that read, man.
Con. So you got to understand that envying somebody because of what they have, according to this earth, man, is not going to do anything. I have righteous jealousy over brothers who know a lot in the scriptures because, dang, I want to get there someday. But you shouldn't be envying a brother just because he has a nicer house or a nicer car. You know what I'm saying? That's folly and madness. Because anything that the Most High gives, he can take away. He can give you the wisdom and he can take it away, especially if you're not occupied in it. Literally, Brother Naquam did a video from Watching for Israel. He did a video about you're about to be sifted out. Yes, I'm talking to you. And I was watching that video and I was getting cut up, man. Cause I'm just like, sometimes, bro, oftentimes I can know something and then 1 minute I can just forget it. And sometimes that just reminds me that literally the Most High could reveal something to you, and if you don't maintain and stay steadfast in it, it can be stripped away from you. Yes, it's including your mental stability, according to the word as well. This is why people who were educated back when they were older, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes they might have dementia, they might have Parkinson's disease, they might have what they call it, Alzheimer's. You know what I'm saying? So you don't think that you too bigger than the set, right? You shouldn't be thinking that you're bigger than the set when it comes to this word. Study this word. Occupy yourself in this word so that way you can remove envy from without of you. You know what I'm saying? Take envious things out of you.
Come on. And you know, there are things that you can covet. You shouldn't covet your neighbor and what he has, but you can covet things like prophecy. The Bible tells us to covet prophecy, right? When it talks about it in Corinthians, when he's saying people were fighting over who can speak tongues the best, pretty much. He said, hey, look, don't covet over that. Covet over prophecy. Covet over the ability to get visions and dreams. We can covet over righteous things. We can provoke others to good works. Like brother was talking about. You can be jealous over good. Hey, the Most High God is jealous of us when we go to other gods. You can be jealous and desire something for yourself without wanting what somebody else has, right? And that's the difference between righteous jealousy and coveting, right? Because you don't have something. So you can, for example, if we put it on layman's terms, say you want a car, you don't have to look at a brother and say, dang, that brother truck is so sexy. I want that same exact. I want his truck. That's coveting. But you can pray and ask God, can you please, if it's of your will, can you please give me a vehicle that I may drive that I won't have problems with? And when you being humble like that, asking for something like that, in that way, he'll bless you and give you a vehicle that you didn't even, eyes can't imagine. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different spirit behind your prayers and a different spirit behind your desires when it comes to coveting or when it comes to being righteously jealous of something.
So you got to know the difference between the two. You shouldn't be out here coveting what your neighbor has, because you will never be happy until you love yours. If you're so focused on what you don't have, you will forget about what you do have, and ultimately you will literally you will destroy your bones, right? You will cause your bones to, what's the word that was used in Proverbs 14:30? What's the word that was used? Decay. I think it was decay. But literally you would decay your bones just by coveting, right? And envy.
But envy rottenness the bones.
Rottenness the bones, right? So now we're going to bring out a precept. This is 1 John 4:20, right? If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother whom he hath seen, how can he love God whom he hath not seen? Right? So how can you love the Most High God if you have not seen him but hate your brother who you see every day? I can't say I love the Most High and hate this brother. Well, how do you hate people? You do not love your neighbor as you love yourself. If I'm envying this brother, if I'm stealing from him, if I'm bearing false witness against him, if I'm just sitting up here and I'm trying to kill him, I'm hating him, right? I'm not loving my neighbor as I love myself. So therefore, I'm hating my brother, but say yet I love the Most High God. I'm coveting this neighbor, my brother's wife, but yet I love the Most High God. I'm coveting my neighbor's house, but yet I love the Most High God. You hate your brother, right? You know what I'm saying? You cannot call yourself a lover of your brother, right? I gotta get. Go ahead.
And we talked about if you don't bridle your tongue, your religion is vain. But hey, look, if you don't control your eyes, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eye, the pride of life. If you don't control your eyes, you'll end up coveting. If you don't control your eyes, you'll end up hating your neighbor. If you don't control your eyes, you'll end up stealing. You'll end up killing. If you don't control your eyes. Our five senses, right, can either lead to righteousness or they can lead to folly. I'll say that again. Our five senses can lead to righteousness or folly. Your touch can heal somebody or lead you into lust. Your eyes can lead you into envy, or you can lead yourself into salvation, right? Your mouth can speak life or it can speak death. Your ears can hear wisdom, or they can hear folly that influences you to do evil. Your five senses matter. Your smell, you can smell something like ganja, right? And get high as a kite and be out of it, not be sober. Or you can smell something like a sweet fragrance, like brothers like to burn frankincense and myrrh, right? And it could remind you, hey, look, let me get in my word. I feel like being holy. Right? So all your five senses, guess what? They all attribute, and that's why I said earlier, every law, every commandment meets a physical truth.
Every law and commandment meets a physical truth. Going to precept 1 John 4:20, saying you hate your brother, but you love the Most High God. This is 1 John 3:15. And it reads, whosoever hateth his brother is a murderer. And ye know that no murderer hath eternal life abiding in him. So if you're not loving your brother in all aspects of what the 10 commandments say, in all aspects of what the 2 commandments say that Christ brought out, if you're not loving your brother, you know what I'm saying, as you love yourself, loving your neighbor as you love yourself, you are a murderer. Akwas, this is for you too. If you're not loving a sister, if you're not reverencing a sister like you reverencing yourself, you are a murderer, right? You cannot have love for the Most High God but hate your brother. And I can't love my brother if I'm suffering sin upon him. I cannot hate my brother if I'm not rebuking him and I'm allowing him to sin. I cannot hate my brother if I'm seeing him in error and I'm just letting him go to hell off. I cannot love my brother if I'm allowing him to go to hell off. I cannot love my brother if I'm sitting up here coveting, if I'm envying, if I'm just doing all these things against what the Most High God says for us. So them last 5 commandments are essential to knowing that the 2 great commandments that Christ brought out in Matthew the 22nd chapter, those are not just, oh, there's 2 commandments, that's it. Oh, there's no more 10. No, what Ox said earlier in the first video that's posted on our page, on those commandments hang all the law. You're naturally performing the law, all of them, if you're performing those 2. Loving your brother, loving your neighbor as you love yourself. Go ahead, King.
I was just going to say, the world has changed bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter, man.
Right.
And we don't even know what love is. But you might have friends that's in the world and they might say, love you, bro. Love you, bruh. Right? And they only saying that because y'all just got out of some folly together. You know what I'm saying? Y'all just left the strip club, both of y'all married. And before y'all get in the car, drive safe, bro, love you. No, you don't. You hate each other. Cause y'all not keeping each other out of sin, like the brother said. Y'all hate each other. But the world has literally flipped everything to where our minds are programmed to think the opposite way. Cause now, if I tell a brother, hey, remember you got a wife, brother, you shouldn't really be out here like that. Now he hate me. Instead of realizing that's love, he hate me. But if I would say, yeah, bro, let's come on to the strip club, bro. We gonna keep it under wraps, bro. I'm not gonna tell my wife. You're not gonna tell your wife. Oh, facts, fam. That's love. You know what I'm saying? And that might be a stretch, but hey, look, we live in a world where it's been switched, and now people hate love. When you try to give them love, they hate it, and they want to make an excuse, and instead they give you hate and call that love. Confusion.
And this is Galatians, the 4th chapter and the 16th verse. Am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth? Like Ox said, you will tell somebody, hey man, hey, you got a wife, you ain't coming to the strip club with me. And they'll get mad at you. Like, nigga, who you to tell me I'm a grown ass man, I do what I want to do. Nigga, literally, lust of the flesh is killing them so much that they would rather not listen to sound doctrine and rather listen to lie, man.
Right.
It's better to hear rebuke than the song of fools. That's in Ecclesiastes.
Right.
So you got to decide about, like Ox said, put your 5 senses to work. When you performing the law, it requires spiritual and physical work. The Most High gave you 5 senses. What are you going to allow yourself to see? What are you going to allow yourself to hear? What are you going to allow your mouth to say? What are you going to allow yourself to inhale? You know what I'm saying? There's 5 senses, right? What's the other one? Now I named 4. You got sight, you got touch, you got taste, you got hearing,
smell,
and you got smell, right? So what are you going to allow your eyes to see? What are you going to allow yourself to feel? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to be sitting up here? Are you going to be feeling on these precepts? Or are you going to feel your finger rolling up a blunt? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm going to read a couple scriptures later on today. I might read a couple scriptures while I'm getting high. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is. Are you going to allow yourself to see things that are necessary for your benefit? Are you going to allow yourself to hear sound doctrine? Or are you going to turn away your ear from hearing the Most High God's prayer? Right? What does Proverbs 28:9 say? He that turneth away his ear from hearing the word, even his prayer shall be an abomination. So put your 5 senses to work through the flesh that the Most High gave you to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. Right? The 10 commandments, like Ox said earlier, every commandment has every spiritual. What did you say?
Every law has met a physical truth.
Every law has met a physical truth.
Shout out to Humble.
And there's double to that which is. So there's spiritual and there's physical. You have to spiritually circumcise yourself, renew your mind. How do you literally renew your mind on a daily basis? What do? What causes you to renew your mind? Like, is there a drill I can plug into my ear and just go like this and rewind all the wickedness that I did from yesterday and the day before that? Or do I have to get on my knees and ask for repentance and pray? How do I cleanse my way? By taking heed to the word. Psalms, the 119th chapter. You know what I'm saying? You got a precept?
I got a precept. This is Psalms 119 and verse 113. I hate vain thoughts, but the law do I love.
I hate vain thoughts, but the law do I love. Right? Go ahead.
And I was just gonna say, this is literally telling you, if it's not the law, it's vanity. If it's not the law, it's vanity. Literally, since I've been in the truth, every situation I apply the law. Before I do any situation, I think, is there something I can compare this to? Is there a Bible story? Is there a prophet? Is there a law? Is there a sin that I can compare this to before I do it? Before I ask this? Before I say this? Before I drink this? I literally, everything, all the 5 senses, everything, right? And those are not vain thoughts, because guess what? I'm not thinking about myself. I'm thinking about what he wants for me. That's why I love the law. And if I think anything vain, guess what? If I think anything vain, I'm in vanity. So I'm going to read that again. Psalms 119 and 113. I hate vain thoughts, but the law do I love. As soon as an evil thought or a selfish thought pops into my mind, I hate myself for that. I hate that I was even about to do something that wicked. I'd be like, nah, that's vain. Nah, I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? I hate my vain thoughts, but I love the law. I pride myself in saying, yeah, I kept the law today. I pride myself in thinking, I'm glad I thought about that. I'm glad I thought about that parable. I'm glad I thought about that story. That makes everything make sense. Right? I love that. But when I think about when I'm selfish, and for example, abortion, that's selfish. That's not according to the law. That's a vain thought. To want to kill something, that's a vain thought. You know what I'm saying? So just, understand what you should love and what you shouldn't love, what really is love. And that's these commandments that we're going over.
How do you love the Most High God? Well, for this the love of God, that we keep his commandments. His commandments are not grievous, right? Right? And to end it, I'm going to read this precept. You know what I'm saying? This is Revelation, the 14th chapter and the 12th verse. And it reads, blessed are they, Salakia, and it reads, here is the patience of the saints. And here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus, right? So if you keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus, you know what I'm saying? You are blessed, right?
And look, that's a cut. Because, there's controversy in Israel through congregation camps, through certain people that just congregate amongst themselves on whether we should do the law of Moses, we should do what Jesus said. This just told you to keep the commandments and the faith of who the world called Jesus. Right. You got to do both. Stop saying one is done away with. Heaven and earth ain't passed. You got to do both and be diligent in doing both and love doing both. You gotta keep both. It said keep them. He said if you don't do those two things, you're not a saint, bro. I don't care how knowledgeable you think you are, what revelation you came to recently or whatever. Oh yeah, Paul did say that. That makes a lot of sense. That sits well with my spirit. It doesn't matter if it sits well with your spirit, what the word say. You're not gonna be a saint if you throw away something that he said to keep.
So you gotta understand, man, these 10 commandments is more than 10, yeah, we know, but it's more to that which is, you know what I'm saying? Don't just read it and leave it at that, because I myself have done that in times past. But when you read with intention to gain knowledge and go find precepts, you know what I'm saying? And go use your phone, Google precepts or this, that, and the third, you know what I'm saying? Go Google, go to this app. It's a website called Bible Hub that you can go find plenty of precepts to match your scripture on. You know what I'm saying? It's all about applying what you read, right? That's why Revelation 1 and 3 said, blessed is they that read. Matter of fact, let's read it again. And I know I said I was going to end on 14:12, but let's read 1 and 3 again. Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. So understand, apply what you read, apply what you learned. Don't watch the videos just to watch them and show brothers that you were in attendance. Don't watch the videos to make yourself look good. Yeah, we can get long-winded, but watch the videos with intent to learn something. I pray that me and my brothers can edify you, as well as through the Spirit of the Most High brothers can edify us. You know what I'm saying? As a nation, we can edify each other, right? But with that being said, man, I'm going to say Shabbat Shalom, peace, love, light, family, healing to all of you brothers and sisters out there. I hope you all have a great Sabbath day of rest. For those who don't honor the Sabbath on Friday, sundown, to Saturday, sundown, but you do it on different days, Shalom to you and happy early Sabbath to you as well. But hey, man, as a nation, let's continue to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments and remember these 10 commandments, right? And break it down precept upon precept. You got anything else to add, King?
Shalom, shalom, peace.
Shalom, peace. All right. And I'm going to sign it off up here. Salakia.